great weekend, great 4 or 5 days out in Lake Tahoe with my members, climbing to the top of the mountain and looking, charting our strategic vision for 2018. A lot going on in the world, folks, today, next month, and into 2018 that we're going to talk about. We have Accelerated Retirement coming up here at 1 o'clock Eastern, where I'm going to cover a lot of this stuff in more detail. But, folks, it really is, looking at the DOD the news that I get each morning, this is a sleeper story. Of course, the liberals are still frothing at the mouth about how a guy who shouldn't have a gun got a gun, which is always going to happen in a country as free as ours. They're ignoring this story. Saudi Arabia and Iran, folks, are very, very close to a shooting war. This happens every once in a while. It seems like every other year or every other leap year, or however it works, that Iran and Saudi Arabia get closer to punching each other in the throat. That's going to happen eventually. They're kind of two bullies that run up to each other and talk a lot of smack and then back down, kind of like South Korea. All it takes is something to go bump in the night, and it can be pretty bad. So not only does is Iranian-backed rebels shooting missiles at the kingdom and at the capital, and they're having to shoot them down, but Saudi Arabia is going through a purge right now and rounding up pretty high-profile princes and ministers, and the one guy you've seen on CNBC countless times. He's a multi-billionaire, one of the richest men in the world. And that dude is now sleeping on the floor in a hotel trying to decide his fate. What's really behind this? Probably an $800 billion grab of assets might be behind it, but that's beer talk. So we got to keep an eye on the Middle East, the Persian Gulf. That's my job to monitor that. President Trump has obviously some fog delayed his or prohibited him at the DMZ from essentially giving cream of some young guy the finger. That didn't work out, but. Our Raytheon and defense trades are looking great. 3-4 weeks ago, I said, folks, we have got to get bullish on the defense sector, especially before the president goes to Asia. Why? Headlines like this: Trump urges Japan to buy more U.S. military equipment. And today or yesterday, whatever time zone they're in, South Korea is in talks to buy submarines, potentially nuclear submarines from the United States. So General Dynamics, Raytheon, all these defense contractors we talked about for the past couple weeks are looking great, and they're looking to have a rip your face off rally. So looking very good. A lot of our positions. Apple, oh my gosh, man, Apple might surpass, what is it, 900 billion with a B market cap today. It's just never seen anything like it. In our Apple trade, we put on a Jan20 right around here going into earnings. So a lot of my members are really happy with the Apple trade and the Raytheon. Let's, while I'm up here, let's pull up RTN. And take a look at that. This is still a good trade to get into. We'll talk about this at 1 o'clock in Accelerated Retirement. There's the earnings implosion right here. I said to get into it, and that's been a hell of a run, almost a 10%-ish run since we looked to get into it. Let's take a look at the 2-year chart of Raytheon. Take a look at the 5-year chart of Raytheon. That's nice. So this is look at that little fish hook right here. That was an absolute great time to get into Raytheon, and it's still a good trade. It's only going to go higher, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it. Wearing a flight suit, I kind of don't want the defense stocks to be going up because that means there's a lot of bad going on in the world. Being Gordon Gekko, I want the defense stocks to go up. I'll sell arms to my enemies and my friends and hope they beat the hell out of each other. There's your Gordon Gekko for the day. Hey, real quick before I forget, folks, I'm going to be kicking off an options weapons school. I do this about 2 or 3 times a year. This is taught by me. Head to go.topgunoptions.com/OWS, Options Weapons School. It's going to be about 4 live trading sessions and training sessions kicking off Monday night at 7 Eastern. And if you guys opt in, I'll give you, what's 45, 70, what's that, 80 bucks in value here. I'll give you a copy of our Options Pocket Checklist and our proprietary 7-step trade plan. So head to go.topgunoptions.com/OWS. That stands for Options Weapons School. And I'll get into more detail, all the stuff I'm wanking about in my SITREP right now. Hey, man, what a difference a year makes. This has been incredible. It's been an incredible rally under Trump. You're listening to one of the only men or women in the financial industry who got this right. Not only predicted that Trump would win the election, I predicted that there'd be a 10 to 15%-ish rally, and it's blown through my predictions. We're up here to 22. S&P's up 22% year to date. So, we're starting to top out a little bit here. The Trump rally is getting a little exhausted. Why? We need to see what's going on with the tax plan here. If we do not get, and the Rhino John McCain, what did he say yesterday? or the day before, he said that tax reform is dead on arrival. And then here's Ted Cruz. I didn't know he was a rhino, but he's also saying the tax plan is dead on arrival. So this week, folks, is absolutely critical to this tax plan. And if we don't get it before Christmas, as the president asked for, we're going to implode. Let me organize all these for my webinar. For those of you that are members, you know how I feel about Goldman Sachs, and Dick Beauvais essentially mirrored everything I've been saying for the past 3 months. Blankfein's bad judgment. He's a bad skipper. Everything I said, folks, about why I'd be bearish on Goldman Sachs, except their involvement with Venezuela, I've said months ago. And it's awesome to read this this article or what he had to say on CNBC about Goldman stock. Everything I've said about why you should sell this is parroted here, like I said, except the Venezuela thing, which I'll add to my repertoire. So thanks, Mr. Beauvais. Maybe he's a member and he's been listening to me. Very, very narrow rally, folks. 75% of the gains in October have come from the FANGs, from tech stocks. We've had a hell of a run with our Apple, Facebook, XLK trades. They've been printing money, and a lot of happy investors. Our short Tesla trade's looking good. We'll also talk about that at 1 o'clock. What was I going to focus on here real quick? Oh, when short vol funds are at record highs, folks, so let's get this straight. Everybody's short volatility up here. There's low volatility. I mean, hell, folks, when I was sitting in Lake Tahoe enjoying an adult beverage, the VIX closed at $9.14 on Friday. $9.14. I think that's a record low for the VIX, folks, which is just stupid. There's nothing potentially that could go wrong in the world that's not going to cause volatility to spike. That's just dumb. So I covered last night in a webinar at a multi-speaker event, a bullish double vertical on VXX out through December. I think VXX had a right before Christmas strike, because if Trump, in my opinion, folks, the December 22nd, if the president does not get tax reform before Christmas, this market is looking for an excuse to sell off 3 to 5%. I'm telling you, I'm on calls, Skypes, texts daily with people, literally London, New York, Chicago, who are waiting. You want me to sell off. You need me to sell off. 3 to 5%. This is a self-cleaning oven, folks. After this rip your face off rally, we're looking for an excuse to sell off, and I think it'll be tax reform. Don't forget about the debt ceiling fight that we have potentially coming up in December as well. So December, which is not usually volatile, the Santa Claus rally and all that Wall Street-ism could, is supposed to happen. Not this year, folks. You got a tax fight with like 6 legislative days left, or 7, and a debt ceiling fight. So it's going to be, next week's going to be sporty, folks. So make sure you grab your slot. Go.topgunoptions.com/OWS. That's short for Options Weapons School. I'm going to talk through all this stuff and where I think we're heading in 2018. Okay, I got to run. I'll see many of you at 1 o'clock who are in the accelerated retirement portfolio, and we're going to talk about that Raytheon win, Apple, and all of our great Apple, Facebook, XLK, JP Morgan, and Raytheon, and Brazil. Our front month Brazil trades are looking pretty good as well. Okay, I'll see you guys in a little bit. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge, and God bless.